Stage 3 of the Volta Algarve would visit Tavira after starting the day in Villarreal de Santo Antonio. Overcast conditions for the start and UAE occupying all of the jerseys. In fact, Jan Christen in charge of all four, wearing yellow. Biniam Girmay and the rest preparing to try and win a sprint. As if it would come to a sprint. This stage usually did. Not too much of a change in route from the last couple of years. A start of the day skirting the Spanish border before going inland into the hills, back towards the start town, an intermediate sprint there and across to finish by the coast into Vida. Jan Christen in the yellow jersey. And the green jersey was being looked after by his teammate Joao Almeida, who had been second and best of the big-name GC riders on the main mountain stage on day 2. 10 riders got up the road very early on. And as we came to the final classified climb of the day, those 10 riders were about to be brought back very quickly by one of the local Portuguese teams, Aviludo Luletano Lule. That's because their man, Herman Nicolas Tivani, tied at the top of the standings in the King of the Mountains competition with Jan Christen, would want the jersey himself. 4, almost 5 minutes of a gap very quickly came down to next to nothing. Despite a late attack from Carlos Salgueiro, things would come back together. That's still with just under 60 kilometers to go. Off the main roads and into the backcountry roads of the Algarve. And even this time, those in the breakaway knew that the adventure was coming to the end. There was pressure here on Tivani to finish the job and take the points at the top of the climb. Despite the presence of top World Tour teams, he'd do that and move on to the podium at the end of the day in the sole lead of the blue jersey competition. Coming to the intermediate sprint, things started to hot up. Just inside 30 kilometers to go. Lidl Trek were interested, and Matthias Vacek took the sprint points. He'd also take 6 bonus seconds in the GC. He'd started the day in 16th place. A man who started 4th would end day 3 not finishing the race. Romain Bardet, on his only ever Algarve appearance, had to abandon after a crash inside the final 25 kilometres. Disappointing for the Frenchman, who prepared for this by being at altitude. At the front of the race, things calmed down very briefly, but then really got going again inside the final 3.5 kilometres. It became a furious fight for the front of the peloton to avoid obstacles and position sprinters in the right place. The final couple of turns saw a couple of really nasty crashes. Leitao going down in one of those. And it will be Casper van Uden to lead out the sprint. Jordi Meus coming off his wheel and into the lead. Dainese would try and get around him, as would Girmay, but it would be a first victory since last July to the Belgian sprinter, once upon a time winning on the Champs-Élysées. His first win of the season was his team's 6th. A brilliant victory for the man from Belgium and for Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. Meus, Dainese, Girmay, De Lee and Van Uden the top 5. Wout van Aert, last year's winner here, was in 8th. There was plenty going on in the finale, but it was that long-range sprint up the hill from Casper van Uden, followed by Meus. Rui Oliveira was in there, but he was chopped away with Dainese coming across. The Italian unable to get around and take the win, and that win taken by the Belgian Meus. No change in the general classification lead. Meus on the podium as the new points classification leader. He will wear the green jersey on stage 4. Jan Christen leading by 4 seconds. No change, in fact, in the top 10 in the general classification. Another day in the yellow for him. Almeida, his teammate, at 4 seconds. Laurens de Plus remains in 3rd with 2 stages still to go. And you can follow the remaining 2 stages live and on demand across our platforms, as well as the other racing that's on at the moment. Remember to like and follow at Eurosport Cycling.